Some Scientology spy tactics have been leaked, and it is so juicy, I can hardly stand it. And a protester schooled a Scientologist in Seattle in an amazing way. We're going to talk about that and so much more. Hello, everybody. I'm Natalie. This is Scientology, Life After a Cult. We dig into Scientology, being culty, my 35 years in this cult, and leaving with 3 generations of my family. And the tea is hot today on some Scientology shenanigans. In fact, it's so hot, I feel like we all need tea to go with it. I'm enjoying some green tea this morning as part of my new effort to practice self-care, which I'd like to just say, and if any of you caught my video yesterday about self-care, if you've done anything for self-care since then, let me know in the chat. Tell me in the comments. I got up this morning. I did some meditation. I listened to a really positive podcast. So I've got the rest of the day to go, but I just want you guys to know that I am taking those steps to practice better self-care. And I hope you guys are too. Oh my gosh. Okay, we have so much to talk about. It's crazy, including the whole Scientology is so dumb. The stuff we're going to talk about later, it makes my skin crawl, and it's going to blow your guys' mind. You would think after 35 years in Scientology and being in the SEER organization, not much would surprise me, but ooh, it does. It does. It does. But let's start off with a little video from Jamie and Daniel Mustard, who were 2 brothers who grew up, who were unfortunately born into the SEER organization. And I just love that they did this video together and collaborated. We're going to look at a little clip from it. And I think you guys did too, because I have multiple people send me this. And let's take a look.
If you were to sum up Hubcult in one word, what would it be?
Yeah. Okay. I'll answer that. Okay. Judgment.
Judgment.
It is the most judgment. It's funny. Like, don't invalidate, don't evaluate. All the doctrine does is invalidate.
Yeah.
So
And
there's
there's
the most judgmental group that I've ever been near. All they do is judge each other. The whole doctrine is about judging you. Judge the tone scale, judgment. Upstat, downstat, judgment. Upper conditions, lower conditions, judgment. RPF, judgment. Big whale, judgment. Judgment. The thing is all about judgment. Okay. So, it is enforced judgment.
So correct. So true. That really resonated with me as being true, because so much in Scientology is about that. That's part of the trap. We're going to get you in and we're going to ask you all these personal questions, either through a personality test. Now, this is unless you were born into Scientology, then you just, you're just going with the motion there. You're going where you are put. And we're going to find out what's ruining your life. And we're going to convince you that we can solve that problem. But really what's going to happen is we're going to turn around and judge you for it. And we are going to hold your feet to the fire with this judgment so that you feel like a POS anytime you think about leaving. Because if you think about leaving Scientology, you have crimes. You have crimes and you're doing something. So you're going to get judged there as well. Love it. Link down below to that video and all of the articles and videos I'm going to be talking about today in the description, so you can go check them out. Check them out in their entirety. What I do here on the recap is I share just a glimpse, just a look, but go dig into a lot of this content because it's it's great information. All right, now let's take a look at something else that just resonated with me. And again, with so many of you, because several people sent this to me and I had to read it a few times. And it really, well, you know what? Let me show it to you and we'll talk about it. This was a post by SERGE Del Mar. Kids are easy to, literally is SERGE here on Facebook. Listen to me, Facebook. I'm on YouTube. Kids are easy to manipulate. The whole system is designed to disconnect you from your intuition. Why? Breaking news, disconnected kids are even easier to coerce and manipulate. Disconnected people are easy to manipulate. No more kids in Scientology. That whole point that the whole system is designed to disconnect you from your intuition speaks to me so much. And here's what I'm curious about. Those of you never in Scientology, who I know many of you have experienced different trauma growing up, maybe even some of you were in a different cult. Does that resonate with you? Because the whole thing in Scientology is to take away a person's individuation, their individuality, who they are. And as part of that, you desensitize them through what are called training routines in Scientology, which are the communication drills. That's how it's put to us. Oh, these are going to help you communicate better. But what they also do is desensitize you. And as a child and as a young person, you become desensitized to inappropriate behavior, inappropriate comments, not having boundaries, a complete and utter lack of boundaries, not trusting your own intuition. Because you have to believe what Scientology says or L. Ron Hubbard says. And if your intuition is telling you something different, you have crimes. You have crimes. It just resonated with me so much. It's so true. Daniel's right. TRs train you to ignore your human instincts. And those are the training routines in Scientology, where people sit across from each other and they start with their eyes closed, and you have to just be there comfortably. Then it's eyes open, where you're locking eyes in the professional TRs course for 2 hours. And if you flinch, if a fly lands on your nose and you do anything about it, you start over. The clock starts over. Doesn't matter why you interrupted or whatever. Then you go on to bull baiting, where you can say anything to the person doing the TRs, the training routines, anything sexual, anything inappropriate. And if you laugh, if you cry, if you respond, what you hear is flunk, start, and they say it to you over and over and over again. They do whatever they did that got the reaction until you no longer react. So you don't trust your own reaction. You don't trust your own gut. It's so insidious. So I could do a whole video just on that. But we have so much to cover. We got to move on. Let's talk about Phil Jones. Phil Jones did a video talking about Operation Snow White, which was to steal files. It's when Scientology infiltrated over about 136 government entities. And by the way, today, I'm going to double check the time. I think it's 6 o'clock Central, my time. But today, is it today? Why is it not? Nope, it is today. I'm going to be doing a video with Phil Jones, and we are going to talk more about this and a bunch of other things, 6 Central. So keep an eye out for that. I'm going to do a notification in a little bit, but let's take a look at a clip from Phil Jones' most recent video.
Hubbard being in hiding, he had developed this program called Snow White. Snow White was a program that was Scientology, supposedly the Guardian's office was going to implement to find negative files on Scientology and any police departments, government agencies, IRS, anywhere around the world. I think at one time they had over 5,000 operatives that they had taken on to infiltrate police departments, governments, Interpol.
5,000 Scientology operatives. Can you imagine? I mean, seriously, can you imagine? Think about what that is, what that means. This is why 11 Scientologists, including L. Ron Hubbard's wife, Mary Sue Hubbard, were sentenced to prison for doing this. It's literally the largest infiltration of the United States government. I think that it still is. Yep, even Windy City Thetan Watch says, still the largest infiltration of the U.S. government in its history. That's crazy. It also, the way that they found out about this, like the government, the FBI found out, is they raided Scientology in the 70s. And it was one of the largest raids the FBI has ever done. Yet here they are with their tax exempt status, just acting like it's all okay and nothing's going on. So definitely, if you cannot catch the live tonight, 6 p.m. Central, catch it on their replay. Phil Jones has a lot of great info. His story about losing his children to Scientology and the Sea Org is heartbreaking, but Phil has a long history in Scientology, and this is a great opportunity to ask him a whole bunch of questions as well. So bring your questions. I know I have a bunch as well. Okay, let's move on. Let's head over. Everybody hop in the Life After a Cult plane as we go over to Denmark. Boom, here we are. Scientology up north and L. Ron Hubcult sat down and did an interview together. And here's the really cool thing about this. Miriam, Scientology up north, has never been in Scientology. She is one of you beautiful, never in Scientology, but all in on ending the cult people who is fighting this fight and battling Scientology in Denmark. So let's take a look, because L. Ron Hubcult, I've heard some of his story in the SEA organization, but he really breaks it down. And some of the things he shares that happened are just disturbing. It's so wrong. And it speaks to what Scientology really thinks, where they value their people or their Sea Org members. Take a look. Let's see. Do I got this pulled up? Let's give this a listen.
You were basically carrying all the heavy things on your own over there.
So he was sent to Amsterdam, I think it was, to the organization to move a whole bunch of stuff by himself. No help. He totally could have been hurt. Listen to this.
Oh, yes. So in Amsterdam, I learned how to work alone with heavy things. It doesn't matter how heavy it is. 2 tons, it doesn't matter. I need to lift it, I need to move it, and I will move it somehow.
Okay, so you had to move things that should not be really moved by one person.
I mean, metal cabinets, safe.
Metal cabinets and a safe. It was his job to move these things, but move them alone. And you would think, oh, okay, well, he's there doing that hard work. Surely Scientology and the Sea organization is taking care of him, right? Right? Wouldn't they do that? Take care of their own people so they can do this hard work? No, they did not. Listen to this.
Since you were there, did you get some kind of lunch break, or did someone bring you food there?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes, yeah, they brought some food. Afternoon, not lunch, the dinner time. And, you know, sometimes they left some food in the fridge.
I mean, you get it. They didn't even bring the guy food. He's there 16 hours a day doing this work. They're not bringing him food. They're not making sure he has help. And then on top of that, they eventually stop picking him up to take him back to his bunk bed in his shared berthing. They just leave him there. Listen to him tell it here.
Did not come back to you because it was too late, and you already there. You need to go back to work in the morning, and you know, it was such a BS.
And it just happened one day that they just didn't show up.
Yeah, because I was told, you know, I was the last person who they picked up because of the route to get back home.
Yeah.
And one day I did not fit in the car, and they decided to not come back, you know, because it takes too much time and so on. Okay, don't ask me why they did not pick me up. I was not picked up, and I was more pissed than anybody else, you know, because I was not prepared for that, you know, to left behind in the org in a building alone for the night, you know.
Can you imagine? They just left him there in a building overnight, not with a bed, not with a blanket. In fact, he had to makeshift his own bed. Listen to this.
Did they have a bed over there?
No. I needed to build a bed from leftover whatever furnitures, anything was there, pallets, you know, whatever.
Okay. Did they have a bed over there?
No bed, nothing. Just leaves him in the building. Just leaves him there. Doesn't bring him food. He has to do all of this manual labor. This is this is, I'd like to say like, oh, this is, you know, this is a one-off. No, this is the regular behavior. This is how the Sea Org members are taken care of in the Sea Org. They're not a priority, and it really shows what Scientology values. They don't value their people, their own people who are doing the work, who are doing the hard work. If Scientology was so amazing and you got all these superpowers that made you so much more capable, why don't they ever move any of the staff members or the Sea Org members up Scientology's bridge to total freedom? Why don't they? Because it's BS. And they're not even giving the care to their own people that they claim they can give and provide. How can you create a world? This is what Scientology says is their goal, a world without criminality, without war, without insanity. How can you do that when you're leaving people in a building to do heavy manual labor with no food and no place to sleep? We're supposed to yet trust you with society? We're supposed to trust you with our kids. We're supposed to trust you with everyday people. You're somehow going to help them. How can you help anybody? You can't help yourself. You can't help your own people. There are people within Scientology, especially in the Sea organization, who are still living that life and suffering. Yet somehow Scientology is supposed to come out and just help the world, right? I know, Emily, it's super upsetting to hear, but unfortunately necessary. And I'm glad that they had this conversation, and I'm glad that they're doing what they're doing in Denmark. There's a lot happening. Please do check out their channels. They've been out there protesting. It's L1 Hubcult and Scientology up north. Like I said, links down below to all of the good things. And speaking of good things, let's go over now to Portland. Portland, where Rika was, and she spoke with a man who shared his experience in Scientology. If you don't already follow Rika in Portland, she protests outside the Scientology organization there. Check this out.
Thank you very much. It is definitely a cult.
Totally agree.
Yes. Don't ever go in there.
Well,
unless you're going to troll them.
I went to the Celebrity Center once because I was like, you know, I don't think that they're going to turn me, and I'd like to see what's inside, and they were super culty.
Oh, yeah.
But I never once did I feel like, oh, I'm on board.
Yeah, no. Did you do the personality test?
I didn't. I just
okay.
You know. But, you know, it's stupid.
It is stupid. It's goofy.
I just love that. And it's very common of the experience. Most people going into Scientology who just walk in out of curiosity are curious because it's a cult. It's a little bit of a thrill. It's like going on a roller coaster, right? You don't know what's going to happen. Are you going to be safe? I mean, hopefully you are. But same thing. Oh, I'm going to go into Scientology. Going into Scientology is the modern day equivalent for people, especially young people who are just trolling, of going to that one spooky neighbor's house. You know what, like on Halloween or another time, and going on knocking on the door and running away because it's scary and it's weird and it's odd. This is what is happening with Scientology. This is what people are doing. And the guy even went in and was like, well, you know, was I going to buy it? Were they going to recruit me? No, he could see that it was dumb. I love that he shared that. And we're seeing this over and over again with the different people live streaming in front of Scientology organizations all over the world. The public are stopping and they're sharing what they think about it. And guess what? They pretty much think what we think about it and know what we know about it. Oh, hey, Aaron. Who else? I saw a whole bunch of people jump into the chat here. Abraham, good to see you. It just goes flying by. All right, next up here, we're going to go to Chicago where there's some serious stuff happen over there. Windy City Thetan Watch was out there, and somebody from Scientology tried to get between him and an officer. It's so, speaking of goofy, this is goofy. Watch this.
How tall are you, tough guy? So here's a cute fella. How much proximity am I allowed? Can I get that close to you?
I love that Wendy, just like the guy, tries to block him in his view. And, you know, Wendy must have a very long selfie stick and just lifts it up right over the guy. Just love it. I love how he handled that. And that wasn't it. That was not the end of it, because one of the Scientologists went and talked to the police trying to get Wendy in trouble for speaking the truth.
I made a deal with them. If they take their table home, I'll go home.
I mean, that sounds like a reasonable deal to me. And being that Scientology doesn't really do anything, this is not productive for them to be out in public, especially when there are people there exposing them at every turn.
I just don't like human trafficking, and I don't like child abuse, and that's what they support.
And the cop is basically like, he gets to do this. I don't know what to tell you. And nothing happens because Wendy is not breaking any laws there. And there's a reason why Scientology they're not his biggest fan. That is for sure. Check this out.
I will say that Scientology is probably not a big fan of mine. They spent a lot of money for that organ. I don't have the actual event fees, but I'm going to guess it's thousands of dollars in order to get a tent at that literary festival. And we saw on Sunday they sold 2 books. I don't think they sold many more on Saturday. So the idea that I'm crushing them there. One of the things you'll see is yesterday I was over at the org with another protester, Beatrice, and they actually brought 3 people out onto the street. One of them was the Sakala brothers. So they brought 2 uniformed people, staff members in their vests, who are more senior, that those are people that hold higher positions in the org, as well as...
Yeah, I don't know why they're bringing out what they think are their big guns or something. And it's, for some reason, Scientology Chicago, I mean, those of you that have been following along since the org opened in Chicago, which was, what was it, March of this year? Was it March? They've really done some shady things in terms of their relationship with law enforcement, but law enforcement doesn't always cooperate. It just seems to be certain people in law enforcement and sending out like the people that he's talking about. What do you think you're going to accomplish? It doesn't change anything, and it doesn't intimidate at all. Meanwhile, the protesters are out there having a good time, telling people the truth about Scientology. Even Juanita, if you guys have not been following Juanita and Corn Freak out there, they're out there spreading the truth about Scientology and having a good time doing it. How jealous must the Scientologists be?
I usually close the window and hey guys, can you see it for you? I told you. Hey.
There he comes to close the door because they're there.
Hey, you could be out, happy.
That's right. And she tells him, you could be out. You could be out and happy. You could be out of Scientology and be like the public going by Scientology, wanting to take pictures, ironically, because it's a cult.
Of course you can.
Is that Corn in the Kenny costume? Somebody tell me in the chat. I just love that costume.
Yeah. Could you take it? Sure. Let me get her stuff. Yeah.
And then they take a picture right in front of the org, just some woman who's passing by. This Scientology is what people think of you. You become a meme, a joke, something to do on a dare. That's really what it seems like it's coming down to. Let's go take a look at Nashville, because Relatable Reese was out there in Nashville giving us a look at what was happening, which was nothing. Let's take a look.
Driving. Hux and I are in downtown Nashville today, and we had no idea we were a mile from the Church of Scientology. So I just wanted to say hello, and there she is. Come on, Hux, let's hurry up and cross. We're breaking the law. We're breaking the law.
Look how dead it is. This is one of their ideal organizations, and there's just a couple of cars in the parking lot.
So many people here. I hope somebody jumps on. There's no one here with me now, but again, I understand. I don't ever just go live like this, and I'm not sure if you can actually even hear me.
Oh, it was great. Link down below so you can watch the full video. She goes around the Nashville org, gives us a really good look at the layout and what's happening, which is pretty much nothing. In fact, she spots a Scientologist from Kansas City. Because my ex-Scientology friends know this, but many of you might not know, Scientology battles itself to grab people because the pie is so small that they fight over the Scientology public, the members who can pay money. So they will take people from, say, Kansas City and be like, oh, you're unhappy with your services in Kansas City. It's because you need to come here. It's because we're more standard. It's because we follow LRH more. No, it's the same stuff. It's the same crap in a different location. You're not going to fool anybody about that, at least anybody not outside of Scientology. But in Scientology, Scientologists sometimes think, oh, it's just the people here that are the problem. It's not Scientology. It's not L. Ron Hubbard. L. Ron Hubbard and Scientology are correct. It's the people here in Kansas City. So I'm going to go over to Nashville and I'm going to give my money there and do services there. And I'm going to have a different experience. And I'll let you guess what happens. They have the same experience. So then they go, okay, you know what? It's these smaller organizations. I need to go to Flag. I need to go to Clearwater where the top of the line auditing is delivered, and there they will handle me. They will be able to handle me. And guess what happens? Same experience. In fact, worse, because now it costs you more money. Because if you think that if you're not satisfied with a Scientology service that you paid for, whether it was a course or auditing, that they're just going to let you redo it without paying for it. Oh, no, 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 no. You are wrong. You have to pay for it. People lose so much money this way, and they go to Clearwater, where we're going to pop over next now. They go to Clearwater thinking that they're going to get what they need there. And of course, they don't. So Dusty Soda Dispenser was out. Let's start there. He was doing a little count of the Sea Org members going by.
11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, Ducky Bus. Tell me that's not culty, folks. Tell me that's not militant.
Sea Org bus taking people distances they could easily walk, but Scientology figured out that it looks weird. It looks weird when you have all these Sea Org members out there together in these uniforms looking upset, right? It'd be different if they were all walking around like, hey, they're not. They're very downtrodden. It's actually sad to see a Sea Org member in the wild because they rarely look like they're living their best life, honestly. Honestly. They look very suppressed. They are literally being suppressed in Scientology. I'm telling you. So let's take another look now. So out there was Dusty Soda Dispenser, Feral Cheryl, and Sarasota Jerry. And who rolls up but Aaron from Growing Up in Scientology and Jenna Miscavige.
Are you guys out for a walk? Jenna, I love you dearly. Hi, Jenna. I just went in the telescopic to try to get you guys over there. Look, guys, it's so awesome to see you.
The beautiful thing about not being in Scientology is being able to have relationships and friendships with the people that you choose or even not to choose. This is not happening inside those buildings. There aren't, deep friendships. There really is not clear community. And it's so ironic that right outside the building are there Sea Org members who are watching this, the hugs, the embraces, being happy to see each other, and then going and doing some protesting together. They were getting so much love with the honks right in front of Flag where the superpower building is. Listen to this.
So my first and third flyer went to Scientologist. Yes, sirree. Everybody. Yes, yes, yes.
Like, this is your reactive one, and this is why your mother is evil.
I love the honks, the support that they get. And then, of course, you know, you can't leave Clearwater, leave Flag without doing a little bit of chalk tech and leaving behind some messages.
Damn, the chalk goes by fast when you're using this big boy. I'm like, mine's as basic as it gets. I just love that they're gonna have to come out here and wash it off.
It gives them something to do. We're doing them a service by doing this. It'll probably be him.
That is the superpower building, where one of the things you spend tens of thousands of dollars to do is running around a pole. I am not even joking. That is part of it. It's too much. Okay, let's now go over to Seattle for this next story. You guys are not going to believe this. So you guys know that Laura FM has been doing a tour. She's been going around protesting Scientology at different organizations and playing music. Well, one of the people that she played with in Seattle decided, you know what? He got so inspired by what she was doing that he was going to go out and do some protesting as well. So in Seattle, they had their mobile exhibit of psychiatry and industry of death. Psychiatry, industry of death. I think that's what Scientology calls it, where they show all the horrors of psychiatry and the psychs and how you got to keep your kids away from the psychs in the schools, and how the psychiatrists are responsible for all the insanity and criminality on the planet. And not just this planet, by the way. L. Ron Hubbard says that the psychiatrists, are responsible for evils all over the universe and universes. Even Xenu knew about it back in the day. He blames everything on the psychiatrists. L. Ron Hubbard had a serious hate boner for psychiatry, and I don't doubt that it's because, in part, they made fun of the man when he came out with some of his theories. And then he was like, oh, down with you, psychiatry. And psychiatry is also competition. Legitimate mental health treatment is competition for Scientology. So L. Ron Hubbard outlawed it. You cannot go get mental health treatment. We're not going to talk about anxiety. We're not going to talk about mental health illnesses because they just don't exist. You just need more Scientology auditing. So this exhibit's going on. And I'm going to share with you this video. This is from TikTok. I don't know if he's on YouTube, but it's That's No K on TikTok. I've linked it down below so you can see it. This guy schooled a Scientologist so bad, I'm embarrassed for her. I'm embarrassed for her. You guys have to see this. And reminder, go hit that like button right when we're starting this video. Let's go give that like some aloha. Hit that subscribe as well. You guys got to see this. This is seriously crazy. Here we go.
Realize that you are human trafficking.
So this is outside the space where they're doing this free exhibit, right? Nowhere on the exhibit does it say it has anything to do with Scientology, which is what he's calling her out on. I don't know where this woman is from, if she is a local Scientologist, a local staff member, or a Sea Org member that travels with the exhibit. But wait till you see what happens.
Cult signing up 4-year-olds, babies, infants to billion-year contracts.
Never seen a 4-year-old sign a
I have.
Okay, first off, she's all, I've never seen a 4-year-old sign a billion-year contract. You're pretty much saying, oh, yeah, we sign billion-year contracts, but I mean, not a 4-year-old. And yeah, they do. They have. They absolutely have. And he lets her know.
One of my friends who was in the Sea Org.
She signed a billion-year contract when she was 4.
You're not smart enough to comprehend, but maybe someday.
I don't believe you.
Great. Okay, I'm lying. I don't give a fuck what a Scientologist thinks if I'm telling the truth or not. Why would I care? You're not being honest about what this building is. You won't put Scientology on the front of it. Then put Scientology on the front of it. Be honest. Then why does it say that right there on your truck, genius?
Where does it say Scientology?
Where does it say Scientology? On the truck that she probably rode in on to set up the exhibition, okay? It doesn't say Scientology on the exhibition, not on the building, not on the flyers. And she's saying it doesn't say Scientology on the truck. What are you talking about?
Ah, look at this, guys. Look at this, guys. Right.
I don't know. That looks like Church of Scientology, Western United States. Seems pretty clear to me that it says Church of Scientology on the big truck with the Psychiatry and Industry of Death exhibit from the Western United States. So even specifically what part of the country they're from.
Right here, dummy. Ah, gotcha. You're trembling. Now she's aggressing me.
Now, as she gets out of the sun where the light is really bright, look at her. My heart broke when I saw this. When you have the light straight at you, if you have bags under your eyes or dark circles under your eyes, they don't show up as much. Trust me. Why do you think I have so many lights here? When the light goes away, then you kind of see what's happening. And I mean, look at the woman. She does not look well.
She's getting aggressive. I'm walking away. You're the one following.
And the Xenu eyes. The Xenu eyes, if you're new to this whole anti-Scientology movement or exposing Scientology, shedding a light on the truth, Xenu eyes are something we refer to often because Scientologists are trained with these training routines, these communication drills we were talking about earlier to confront and shatter suppression. So I think that's what she's trying to do.
Following me, freak. Cult. It's a cult. She's part of a cult. I am being followed by a cult.
And she does start following him.
Put it on your sign. It's Scientology, guys. But just be honest with people. It's Scientology. Just stop lying to people. It's not about a museum.
See, psychiatry, destroying creativity. CCHR is the Citizens Commission on Human Rights. It is a Scientology front group. What these shock doctors don't know is about writers and such. What is the sense of ruining my head and erasing my memory, which is my capital, and putting me out of business? It was a brilliant cure, but we lost the patient. I don't even know the context of that being from Ernest Hemingway. And I don't know, would Ernest Hemingway, how would his family feel about Scientology using his quote to make an anti-mental health and anti-psychiatry statement and exhibit?
Or anything. It's about your human trafficking cult.
You haven't been inside and you have no idea.
I have. I've been to the one in LA. It fucking sucks. You haven't been inside and you have no idea. It's the same shit.
You haven't been inside, and so you know nothing. That is an argument that you'll often hear from Scientology, from Scientologists. Well, you haven't experienced it for yourself, so how can you have an opinion? Well, I have never done heroin, but I'm pretty sure it's not good for me and not something I need to experience to recognize that. That is where it just breaks down. Max, good point. 96 hours with no sleep is dangerous. God only knows. I mean, did she drive with the truck from LA, Western United States? That's the Continental Liaison Office area by the blue buildings. I mean, did they drive all the way straight through? Did they get any sleep? She doesn't look like it. Again, the woman does not look well. But I love that he let her know what was what. So link down below where you can find that guy on TikTok. I hope he comes over to YouTube as well, because he has got some spunk. And even though he is new to the anti-Scientology movement and protesting, you can tell that passion and desire is there. So I love it. Power Lies to Paralyze, invasion of the body snatchers in real life. Yeah, seems like that way, especially the way she follows him with the phone with the Xenu eyes. Ooh, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. It really got intense once he called her out too. That's when you could tell she went, at first she was just kind of mad. And then she was like, TR's in, lock on target. Yeah, no, she's not well. It's not right. It's just not right. Laurie, exactly. Hemingway unalived himself. Not a great resource. Let's use a resource. Let's use a quote by a man who unalived himself, who could have benefited from mental health treatment, who could have benefited from psychiatric treatment, to be honest, right? Let's use him as an example on this exhibit. I just cannot with these people. Now, we're going to get into, if you are not already pissed off at Scientology, get ready. Because what we're going to talk about next it's just crazy. And it is the fair game intelligence operations in Scientology. So Scientology has a intelligence branch, and I use that word loosely, a dirty tricks branch called the Office of Special Affairs. In fact, I always forget to wake them up when I'm talking about them. David Miscavige, wake up your staff. Office of Special Affairs, wake up, my lovelies. Wake up and rise. It is a beautiful Monday. I know you're probably tired and overworked, but you need to hear this because we are now going to get into the part of the video where we expose your tactics and what you train Sea Org members to do for the Office of Special Affairs, right? Because this is how he does it. So let's look at this. This is a blog article on Mike Rinder's blog. Okay, so this was something that was confidential that's being leaked. Intelligence principles. This again is from Scientology. It's quite lengthy. There's a link down below so you can read the whole thing. I suggest you do. We're going to look at a couple of key points. Mainly being that, now again, this is Scientology. This is how they train their operatives and their people who they send out to create trouble in different communities who are exposing Scientology. Hold on. There's a specific point. He talks about what happened with Paulette Cooper back in '76. All of this is very much worth reading. He gives some other examples, but I want to go down here. This is a drill that they do. They drill spreading rumors. This is what they actually read and do. So listen to this. This is a drill. So this is something they're going to practice. The line at the end is where they initial when it's done. So drill, spreading rumors. Flunk for anyone spotting you as a source of falsity or troublemaking, etc. They practice this in real life. The drill is to go out and spread rumors within a group. And if you get found out, it's a flunk. So what do? Spread a rumor to another, write up results. Number 2, spread a rumor to another and get him, her to spread it to someone else. So we see this. This is what Scientology does. You'll see it sometimes, them trolling in different comment sections and different chats, where this is what they're trying to do. Spread a rumor, get someone else to spread the rumor, all with the intention to try and suppress a community of people who are exposing Scientology. That is their goal. Get a rumor spread among a small group to a point where at least 4 others repeat it to others. Write up the results. Get a rumor spread around a large group, more than 30 people, to a point where at least 5 others repeat it to others. Write up the results. So simply what we're looking at so far is Scientology's tactic to try and shut down, whether it's me, whether it's people who've never been in Scientology, who are exposing it, who are protesting Scientology, anyone in the ex-Scientology community who is sharing their experience. This is what they do. Spread the rumors. They start rumors, they spread the rumors, and they drill how to do this. They practice doing it, and then they come and they show up on YouTube and different social media platforms, and they do exactly this. Now, they do a drill. It's called a third-party drill. L. Ron Hubbard said that a hidden source of false information causes conflict. So they've got all these steps that you do to basically create this third party, to create conflict. And you're done basically when you're ensuring you get as your product an observed conflict between the two. So to create a conflict between 2 people, between 2 groups, what Scientology, as we see here in their own documents, does is send people in to start rumors, to perpetuate the rumors, to discredit the people who are exposing Scientology so that they can try to shut it down. And all of these drills go into doing that. Even they will go so far as here's a particular drill. Get into the guise, so disguise yourself, right, as a nurse or doctor in a hospital or medical facility to the point where you give an order or direction to someone inside the facility, public or staff person, and they comply fully, believing your identity. It is a drill in Scientology, in the Office of Special Affairs, to go and pretend in a hospital to go be a medical person, and you're only done when they actually act on what you say. That is dangerous. And it doesn't stop there. Get into the guise of being a wealthy individual in a Cadillac, Mercedes, Jaguar, or Rolls-Royce dealership and get a salesman to give you his services for over half hour and test drive at least 3 different autos. If you don't drive, you can just, go to Tiffany's and try the same thing there. So the whole thing is drilling you so that you are good at creating a disguise and pretending to be someone so as to infiltrate a group or an organization. How else might Scientology do that to try to disrupt, I don't know, protests, people speaking out against Scientology? Start rumors, get people to repeat them, rinse, repeat. This is right out of the Office of Special Affairs handbook. It's important to keep this in mind when you're evaluating information that you read or you hear on the internet, because Scientology and the Office of Special Affairs, though understaffed and overworked and probably, malnutrition on account of the rice and beans and sleeping on the bunk beds, the Office of Special Affairs, this is what L. Ron Hubbard says to do. Therefore, this is what they do. Let's see here. Then there's a drill for creating incidents which reflect on others. So they find a target, and then the operative will create a problem that reflects badly on the target. Okay, the target. So you do these things, you make these connections, and then you connect the carelessness of whatever happened up with the target, the person Scientology is targeting, either while they're present or absent, in such a way that impinges with one or more of the target person's fellow employees. So their staff, their peers think badly about them because they then become convinced that what Scientology is spreading as a false rumor is true. And then they act on that. And you only finish the drill when you actually make that happen. This must be done by some type of personal visit, not phone, mail, etc. Write up the results. People do this in the Sea Organization, in Scientology, in the Office of Special Affairs. This is their whole plan. Here's a general scene: a psychiatrist who has instigated attacks on the org via police and press. Here's what you need to do. A, expose his Nazi background to the press with evidence that he still attends local Nazi meetings. Wake him up every night by calling him on the phone and threatening him. Send a field staff member to be a patient of his for a year to disperse the psych during sessions. So to disperse the psych during sessions. Basically, they're sending somebody in to pretend to be a patient to then upset the psychiatrist. This is another thing that happens. This is what the Office of Special Affairs and their operatives do. They go into a community and they try to upset people and create conflict between groups, between individuals by spreading rumors that are not true, by misrepresenting things that happen and making it look like, oh, this person over here did it, whoever the target is. Here's one with a newspaper executive. A, poison him while he's asleep so he'll never start another attack. Make known to the paper's owner that McDonald is responsible for the paper's decreasing advertising revenues. It's insane. This is insanity. It is nasty. The final drills you do when you're planning operations. You're going to take each of the following situations and data and plan a 3-channel operation for each one. Using full target series tech, and target series are a series of L. Ron Hubbard policy letters with the purpose of restraining or fully restraining the enemy concerned. This is how Scientology sees their critics. This is how Scientology sees people who were victims of Scientology, as people who need to be stopped. Why? Because we're out there exposing Scientology. So of course they're going to be butthurt about it. Of course they're going to resort to these type of shenanigans. No, not of course not. Who does that? If you have nothing to hide, if you are not guilty of the things that many survivors of Scientology have come out here and shared, and that many people never in Scientology but all in on ending this cult have been live streaming and showing that nothing's happening at Scientology organization after Scientology organization. It is empty. Nobody's there. They're not growing. They're not expanding. This flies right into the face of what Scientology and David Miscavige constantly put out with their propaganda videos and their propaganda meetings and briefings and all of those things. But you're going to see this it is a very long read, link down below. If you have an opportunity, I suggest you read it, because keep that in mind when you see things or you hear things that might not be true or being done in an effort to create conflict between different people or a group. This is what Scientology does. This is exactly, it's all they can do. Why? They have to play dirty because they have no actual valid defense in what they're doing, and they know it. This is the only thing they can do, and their hope is that by doing this, that they just wear people down and that they quit and they stop doing it. That's the goal, to nullify the people, the voices who are spreading awareness and putting a light on the crimes of Scientology, the human rights abuses, and so on. So that's how all that comes together. And I hope that you guys do go ahead and check that out if you have a chance. Let's see. I'm going to grab a couple questions here so I don't get too behind. I'll grab that one. Let's see. Oh, Amber, your grandma lives near Nashville. Oh, wow. That's cool. Oh, and by the way, Amber, I'm glad your son is doing better. Amber's son broke his leg. He had to have a surgery, but I'm glad he's doing better. I saw that in the comments. Let's see. Wolf Machine. This is a criminal organization, not a church. They spell it right out. Exactly. Yeah, they do. And these documents being leaked and shared and made available to the masses will hopefully help to open eyes, because this is what Scientology does, or at least that they try to do. Vegan 3. Has anyone done a video on Sabrina Carpenter? Didn't know anything about her. Nancy Cartwright's niece. I did. If you go under live on my channel and you scroll down, look for the thumbnail that has Sabrina Carpenter's image in it. I did cover it on an earlier recap. Send this to your representative. Yeah, the document is right there. There's a link down below for it. Element. I heard satanic cults have connections to Scientology. Could be. I mean, L. Ron Hubbard started out with Aleister Crowley and Jack Parsons doing black magic and in their sex cult trying to bring about the Antichrist. So now when I was in Scientology, there are aspects of Scientology that I can now look back on and go, ooh, that seems like maybe some weird, black magic type stuff. But they're not so bold about it. It's not like it's a very known thing. Scientologists don't know about L. Ron Hubbard's history with those things. Scientologists are told, you guys are going to love this. Scientologists are told that L. Ron Hubbard infiltrated Jack Parsons and Aleister Crowley, and he was there to shut it down, and that he even rescued a young woman from that horrible, horrific cult, and then he went on to write and publish Dianetics. No, L. Ron Hubbard was an active participant in it. And the woman he rescued was the girlfriend he stole from Jack Parsons, along with a whole bunch of his money that he and this woman took off with. That is what actually happens. But that is not what Scientologists are told or know. On Hada on Fire, why did the satanic cult members have sore feet? They sold their souls to the devil. Oh, that is a good one. That is a good one. Do check that out, the one Mike Rinder's blog, if you can. And like I said, keep an eye out for it. And you guys, hopefully you can catch my live later with Phil Jones. If not, please catch it on the replay. Hit the like, hit the subscribe on the way out. And I hope all of you have an amazing cult-free day.